Doing a door-to-door campaign in Lenasia. This is for the 2020 by-elections. The ANC Youth League Crisis Committee is expected to address the media as well. Samkele joins me now live. Samkele, very good morning to you.
Well, indeed, playing the ANC Secretary-General alongside ANC Gauteng officials such as the Deputy Provincial Secretary and MEC of Finance in the province will be doing a door-to-door here in Lenasia in order to garner votes for the party in the by-elections that are coming this November. I'm going to bring in the Deputy Provincial Secretary, who is just currently on the phone and just sorting some issues out at this point in time. The Secretary-General of the ANC, Ace Magashule, has not yet arrived. We also do know that our colleague Nomalizo will also be covering the ANC Youth League Crisis Committee, which will be addressing a press briefing at 12 o'clock today, outlining their program of action in trying to reclaim the ANC Youth League. But also here in the province of Gauteng, there are various issues. I'm just going to bring in the Deputy Provincial Secretary here in Gauteng, who's going to speak on why essentially they deemed it fit to come here today to campaign for the upcoming door-to-door elections. Deputy Provincial Secretary, we are live on air now since you are changing caps and changing your ANC regalia. But essentially, why did you deem it fit as the ANC to come and bring the Secretary-General of the ANC to do a door-to-door here in Lenasia South today?
We have been doing this to we have 14 by-elections, by the way, in the province. So we've been taking all the national leaders to various areas. Even yesterday, the leaders were in other wards. But today we are bringing USG so that he can come and see the work that we've already done here. For the past 2 weeks, we have been working here, and I've been leading the team in this area. And what we have discovered is that this area has got so many things that we must do as the organization. I'm sure even yourselves you have noticed that, but we want the ANC to assist us to ensure that we win this ward. That was not our ward, that was the TA ward. So now we're strengthening our support in this area, and everyone says thumbs up to the ANC. Hence we feel that today the provincial, the ANC SG must come and assist us to do the organizational work. So he's coming here purely to do the ANC work.
Some of the residents in Gauteng have been raising issues surrounding the tender procurement system when it comes to issues of the masks that you are wearing, PPEs. What are some of the issues that the residents that you've engaged with here are raising when it comes to allegations of corruption that are perceived to be done by some of your members?
Samkele, unfortunately, I'm not going to answer that one. You know very well that when you want to ask me about government issues, let me take off this cap. So let's arrange an appointment and then you can come and discuss with me those issues. But again, you are still saying allegations. So let's wait until the final report is there. Then once the report is there, you will have a platform to talk to us about that.
But you can't say I must wait for you to put on a government cap. You are an official of the ANC in the province. The Integrity Commission report was sent to you. There was a report by the SIU, an interim report, which was also sent to the Premier of the province, which subsequently would have meant that he had given the ANC in the province an ear of the report before making an ultimate decision on redeploying the MEC of Health, Samkele Maseko.
That's exactly why I'm saying to you, I am not going to answer that question, because you know that the Premier is leading in that process, where the SIU has given him a report that he spoke about to yourselves last week. So wait for him to call you again, as he has done last week, to talk about all the issues that are related to that issue that you are raising.
Just if you look across here, there are informal settlements that have sprung up.
Yes.
Even when you are driving into Lenasia, there are lots of informal settlements. As the Gauteng government, the government of the ANC, what are you doing to eradicate these informal settlements that are sporadically coming up in Gauteng?
That has been our concern, and Lebohang Maile will definitely answer your question, because he has presented even in Parliament the program of the work that we are going to do to deal with the issue of informal settlements. You know very well I've presented a budget, and in that budget there is a slice that have allocated for housing to ensure that they deal with those issues. So can you make sure that, again, my brother, you speak to Lebohang? I know you have one-on-ones with him sometimes. Talk to him. He must talk to you. What are the plans for this area? Because we do have plans. It's unlike we don't have plans. Good plans, by the way, that we want to do in the province of Gauteng, specifically on the area of informal settlements. So that's my appeal to you.
But you know these plans. You can just highlight a few of them.
I will not talk about any MECs these plans without that MEC being there, because I always say to them, you have presented the plans to me as the MEC for Treasury and I've allocated funds for those plans. Go and work out on a program of action and you implement that. So I'm expecting him to talk to you now and the citizens of Gauteng and tell them what is it that he's going to prioritize and what are those specific areas, because he even have their specified identified areas that he will start working on.
Out of this,
remember, the reason that he was unable to implement anything now were coming from COVID-19. Construction have shut down, but now everything is going to start and shape up. Hence, the departments, all of them, they are working on their operational plans. So part of his operational plans is to prioritize areas like this one. Definitely, you will get good results towards the end of the year, but you will meet with Lebohang so that he can give you all the updates on that.
out of the 14 by-elections that are there in the province, how many are you looking to at winning, and how many of them are practically winnable?
We want to win all of them, the 14. We want to, hence we're bringing in even the national to work here. And we have a plan which I always tell about it to the people, that every day we say it's an election day. The way we have been working for the past 2 weeks, we're making sure that we get everything. No party will get any of those. We are confident that as the ANC we are going to come back. Mark my words, Samkele, call me after the by-elections on the 11th of November and ask me that question, because even if there are areas that you think that they are difficult, we are making inroads in each and every area in the province.
Thank you.
ANC is still alive, my brother, and kicking.
Thank you very much. That was the Deputy Provincial Secretary of the ANC in Gauteng saying that they want to win all the 14 by-elections taking place in the province, and they're bringing out their big guns in the form of the national leadership of the party, not wanting to budge on certain issues that have placed a dark cloud over the ANC government in Gauteng, such as the tender procurement system of personal protective equipment, PPEs, in Gauteng, and the sacking of the MEC of Health, Dr. Bandile Masuku.
Samkele, just talk to us with regards to these by-elections and the voting trends in the area where you are. What do we know about that?
Essentially, this ward where we are currently at was previously a Democratic Alliance ward. You've seen that in predominantly Indian and predominantly suburban areas, those particular wards tend to go to your Freedom Front Plus. They tend to go to your Democratic Alliance, and of late, some of them, particularly some within the coloured community, you cannot definitely say that they would go to the African National Congress. They would be mixed here and there. Some would be within the Democratic Alliance, some would be within the Patriotic Alliance, some would also be within the Democratic Alliance and the ANC. The EFF has yet to win a ward in Gauteng, so it varies from time to time, but most urban, if one may put it like that, or suburban wards tend to go to the Democratic Alliance, right, which we are currently at, and some of these wards interlink between a suburban area and a township or an informal settlement, which then becomes would go with the voting district, particularly when it comes to this particular area, since it's relatively a township. This voting station, or VD, would predominantly either go to the African National Congress, to the Inkatha Freedom Party, or to the Economic Freedom Fighters, or any other predominantly African political formation. Then when you would go on my left-hand side, which is towards the suburban side of Lenasia, those words would tend to go to the Democratic Alliance.
Local government elections, by-elections like these are normally about bread and butter issues. We're talking about service delivery issues, electricity, water, ablution facilities, housing, etc., etc. But I just wonder, with regards to the issues that are at play, one would say, on a national stage, when we look at what's happening with regards to the MKMVA, the Secretary-General was in KwaZulu-Natal recently to sort out some issues. The issues between the MKMVA and the Minister of Transport that's being played out on Twitter. I wonder how much influence or sway will those kind of issues have on by-elections?
At this point in time, you can never. what we've come to see in recent years, particularly in the 2016 local government elections, I'll use KwaZulu-Natal as an example. In KwaZulu-Natal, that province was split in half between those who were supporting Sihlezi Galala, Super Zuma, and those who were supporting Senzo Mchunu and the likes of Ntlagani Pontombela, those who were linked to the core of President Cyril Ramaphosa. In 2016, then we had Zandile Kumete as a factor in the eThekwini region. Those entire wards, all wards of eThekwini, were then contested by independents. Those independents had broken away from the African National Congress, and that took away votes from the ANC. So political and contemporary political issues within the governing party do eventually have some sort of an impact on the voter turnout, on the ANC's overall performance in the local government elections, and also with by-elections, the voter turnout tends to be low. So political formations tend to amp up their campaigns in winnable wards that they have. For instance, with the Democratic Alliance through its federal chairperson, Helen Zille, has said that if a ward is not winnable, the Democratic Alliance will simply not participate in that by-election. But the EFF, the ANC, the IFP all participate in by-elections, whether they are winnable or not, in hope that they are able to garner some sort of a significant increase in those particular wards to gauge their prospects in the upcoming 2021 local government elections.
The ANC Youth League Crisis Committee, I understand, is holding a media briefing today. What's on the agenda?
At the ANC Youth League Crisis Committee, our colleague Nomalizo Mandela will be covering that particular briefing of the ANC Youth League Crisis Committee. What we understand is that they will be launching a court bid against the African National Congress in order to have the ANC disband the current National Youth Task Team NYTT, and that the ANC's NEC, National Executive Committee, institutes an NYTT that's inclusive of young people to handle their own affairs, as opposed to what they term the eldership taking the reins of the ANC Youth League as it stands, with Thandima Mbehlala, the coordinator of the NYTT, and Sibongile Pesane, the convener of the NYTT.
All right, Samkele Maseko live for us there. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for your reporting. Police in